Black Magic Sorcerer, back again with another video, and today I'm going to be discussing a little bit about my experience with the Mercury sphere. So Order of Nine Angles has a very unique way of going through their own tree of dark spirits and paths and spears, is the way I would describe it. Oh, this damn thing wants to fall down. So let me get right into it. So when I finally did try to enter the gate for the Mercury sphere, I had, before entering, I had envisioned it in a glowing Mercury silver style glow. So basically I was trying to activate it by using that color, which is similar to the color of the planet too, I guess. If it's a burned out planet, Mercury is a strange planet because it's burned out, yet at the same time it's scorching hot because it's close to the sun. So that alone makes it a very strange, almost burned out star kind of a energy. And yet it did possess some other energy too. So that was really something to invoke Loki. And then after concentrating on the Magician card, what I really got out of this Magician card, because it's associated with Mercury, one of the things I really got out of it was that there is something of stars in the back that looks like the moon, not Mercury. But one of the things that stood out to me about this card is it's a magician, or more sorcerer looking person, who is resurrecting the dead or calling spirits from the dead. But this is more like a resurrection. This is one of the miracles that Christ supposedly did. And it's a fascinating thing, because when we get into necromancy, one of the things that comes up is this possible? There have been many stories about people from Africa who are capable of raising the dead using voodoo ritual and creating what they call zombies. I don't know if there's any credibility to it, but it is very fascinating to think that a dead human can be resurrected by another human being if they have enough spiritual talent and magical forces, etc. That is really awesome. So I got a lot out of that. I think what Loki was trying to let me in on was that just because something is dead doesn't mean it isn't useful. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have power. A burned out star like Mercury still has intense power. It's still a planet. To be able to resurrect the dead. So metaphorically, the way I see resurrecting the dead is taking a human being who's completely dead spiritually, has no motivation, no desire, nothing, and then you bring this person back to life using the forces of magic. So one of the things that I did learn from Reiki and from working with Carrie is that you can use Reiki to get your actual energy, meaning the force that makes you move, talk, speak, eat, anything, all the forces that make you do what you do, those can be strengthened with Reiki. So your life force itself can actually be built up. And that's something that never occurred to me until I started doing magic, that you can actually build bigger, badder energy system. If you want, people destroy their chakras and create new ones. They do all kinds of crazy shit. I'm not sure what's going on with my chakras. I think mine are still in the traditional format. I try to keep them that way. That way it's more simple. And maybe in the future I'll do some chakra work where I try to create one big energy ball or something instead of 7 little energy balls. But I like it the way it is. So I'm not going to break something that doesn't need to be broken. I did pull these additional cards, and I've I've been so sick and I feel so horrible lately. So one of them is the Will, which is definitely associated with Loki, I think. And Seven of Swords, the Emperor, and the Empress. I love this depiction of the Empress. She's like uh, a demon leader, a high-ranking demonic spirit, and she's leading these little demons to do her bidding. It looks as if she's coming out of a hell portal. It's really a wonderful depiction for the Empress. So as I analyze those four cards, I think, okay, that's fine. That was just kind of another little thing for me to concentrate on. But what I really tried to dive deep into was this gate. And once I felt that the gate had materialized, I flew through it and ended up in I guess you could call it desolate wasteland, like the remnants of a field after it's had an intense fire. Something that's been scorched, like the ground that's been scorched by fire, but you can still see what was on the ground. Like it's as if the entire vision was just of things that were slightly charred, which I found fascinating because it seemed to associate more with the actual planet and not the chemical Mercury, the metal Mercury, I should say. So in the future, I'm going to be seeking out some actual Mercury and seeing what can be done with that in terms of magic. This gate did seem to have a little more, I don't know, it seemed more interesting to me than the Moon Gate. The Moon Gate seemed very easy. This seemed like it was almost like I had to put my energy into it for me to get anything out of it, because I feel like I was dealing with something that has energy, but it's passive energy. Like a star that's been burned out doesn't have energy, but it is the energy of a burned out star. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it is. So what did I get from Mercury? What I got from Mercury was, just because something is dead does not necessarily mean that it cannot be brought back to life or that it cannot have some use. I mean, resurrecting a skeleton to go chase someone, if you had the kind of power, that would be pretty bitchin'. So you got to concur with that. Now, as I've made my little diagram here, whenever I go through each sphere, right before I go into each sphere, is how I should pronounce it, I definitely put a drop of blood on that sphere to draw my energy towards it, metaphorically and also in the spiritual realm. So this Order of Nine Angles exercise is pretty awesome. I'm getting a lot out of it. It just sucks that I've been so sick, but I think that that's part of the challenge, is that when you set upon this path, there are forces that try to stop you from becoming powerful and from achieving what you want to achieve. And that's why I'm still going full force with these initiations, because I know that this will pass, and I know it's going to be hard because of everyday life and just things that come up. And you would think doing a ritual is not that big of a deal. It's very simple, but when you're into it on the level that we're at, I think as perfectionists, we always want to do a ritual perfect. We don't want to fuck around. We're not here to play games. This isn't a game. This is very serious to us. So for those of you who understand what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. So anyway, friends, I am going to go blow my nose. Dark blessings. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Loki. And I look forward to my next spherical adventure.